Hello students, as we have completed the Dalton's law of partial pressure and the numericals that we did in the previous lecture, today we are going to start with kinetic theory of gases. When I say kinetic theory of gases, we have certain postulates to study that we are going to start now. So the very first postulate of kinetic theory of gases is that it says that when we talk about gases, gases are made up of small, tiny particles. Discrete means they are very far away from each other and they are made up of very small, tiny particles, which we call as molecules. So when we talk about gas molecules, like if I say I have one hydrogen gas molecule, another hydrogen gas molecule. So if I'm comparing the properties of both the gas molecules will be same because I'm talking about the same gas molecule. But if I have hydrogen in one hand and chlorine in one hand, the properties of these two gas molecules will be different. So we say all gas molecules, they have same mass and size, but different gas molecules will have different shape and size. Next property we say is, on an average, when we talk about gas molecules, they remain apart from each other. When we talk about gas molecules are going to be far away from each other, and because of that what we say is the volume that they occupy in the container is very negligible. You can see if I say this is my container and the gas molecules, you can see the gas molecules, they are very far away from each other. So when I compress them, if I apply certain pressure on these gas molecules and if I try to see how much volume they are occupying, so you can see the volume that the gas molecules occupy is very, very small. We say the volume that is occupied is almost negligible in comparison to the size of the container. The third postulate says that as we talk about gas molecules do not feel or they do not have any force of attraction. As they do not have any force of attraction at ordinary temperatures and pressures, what happens is as they do not have any force, they'll be moving away from each other. And because of that, they occupy the whole volume of the container. The fourth postulate says all the gas molecules, we know gas molecules when they are moving in the container, they're going to move in a random motion. Random means they're going to move haphazardly. And because of this, the motion, they collide with each other. And when they collide with each other, they also collide with the walls of the container. We say when they collide with the walls of the container, they are going to exert certain pressure on the walls of the container. And that pressure is responsible for the pressure of a gas. The next postulate, very important when we talk about the collisions. We see the collisions of gas molecules are perfectly elastic. Like if I talk about an elastic rubber, you know what happens when I take that rubber and stretch it? It's going to be stretched. And when you leave it, it will regain its original shape, size, and property. Same way, when we talk about gas molecules, we say when the gas molecules collide, they will not lose any energy because the energy of this molecule will be transferred into this and this molecule will be transferred into this. Means we say the total energy will remain as it is. So there's no loss of kinetic energy of the molecules during collision. The next, last, and the very important property, kinetic energy of the molecule. When I say kinetic energy, it is the energy due to motion. So we say we can increase the kinetic energy of the molecule by increasing temperature. Very important point, kinetic energy of a molecule is directly proportional to temperature. If I have to increase the kinetic energy of a molecule, I just need to increase temperature and nothing else. Kinetic energy of a molecule does not depend on any other thing like amount of gas. No, it will only depend on temperature. Like if I say I have two containers, in one container I have a gas molecule which has a kinetic energy of around 20 and the other has 40. So if I have to increase the kinetic energy of the first kinetic energy of the molecules which are present in the first, means I have to make that from 20 to 40. I just need to change the temperature. Or if I say I have to make the kinetic energy of the molecules present in the two boxes equal, I need to maintain their same temperature. So that is what it is says, kinetic energy of a molecule will depend only on temperature. Let's revise all the points with respect to kinetic theory of gases. You can have these postulates for 2 or 3 marks. Depending on that, you need to write down the points. You can see the very first point says that gases are made up of very small, tiny, discrete particles, which we call as molecules. All gas molecules will have same shape and size if I talk about the same gas. Different gas molecules, if we talk about that, they will have different shape, mass, and size. Talking about the properties, second postulate of gas kinetic theory of gas, it states that gas molecules, they'll remain apart from each other, and because of that, the actual volume that they occupy is negligibly small as compared to the volume of the container, and because of that, the gases can be easily compressible. The third point says that as gas molecules, they are apart from each other, we say they do not feel any attractive force. There's no force of attraction, and because of that, they are spread out in the container and they occupy the entire volume of the container. We say gas molecules, when they are moving in a container, they move randomly, and because of this random motion, they are going to collide with the walls of the container and also with each other. And because they hit the walls of the container during collision, that is responsible for the pressure of gas. We say kinetic energy, sorry, the collisions in the gas molecules are perfectly elastic, means there'll be no loss of kinetic energy during collisions. And the last very important point, it says that kinetic energy of the molecules can be increased by increasing temperature, and it does not depend on any other factor. Kinetic energy will be directly proportional to temperature. Moving to the next topic, that is deviation from ideal behavior. Now, when I say deviation from ideal behavior, first let's revise what do you understand by ideal behavior. Now, when I say ideal, ideal means perfect. So here, when we talk about ideal gases, we say they are perfect gases. Perfect gases are those that will obey Boyle's law, Charles' law, and ideal gas equation. We say ideal gases are those that will obey Boyle's law, Charles' law, and ideal gas equation at all temperatures and pressure. Means if you talk about any temperature, any pressure, they should be obeying these laws, and they should also obey ideal gas equation. We say ideal gases, they do not have any force of attraction, neither any force of repulsion. It means ideal gases do not have any means of attraction, or I can say there's no interaction. The third point says the volume occupied by the gas molecules, the volume occupied by ideal gas molecules is negligibly small as compared to the total volume of the container. This is with respect to ideal gases. But when we talk about real gases, we say, as I said, ideal. Ideal means perfect. कोई भी चीज परफेक्ट नहीं होती है, कुछ ना कुछ फ्लॉज होते हैं. Same way when we talk about the real gases, like if I talk about the real gases, hydrogen, helium, carbon monoxide, methane, all these gases, they do not obey Boyle's law, Charles' law, under all conditions of temperature and pressure. Yes, they can obey the law, but at a certain range of temperature, not at all temperatures and pressure. We say real gases will show a slight deviation from ideal behavior at high pressure and low temperature. You can see when I say high pressure means you're trying to bring the molecules closer. When I say I'm trying to bring the molecules closer, it means they'll have some force of attraction. Jabki ideal gases, what it says that they do not have any force of attraction. Similarly, you can see low temperature. Low temperature means I'm cooling them. So normally when we say ki gases, if you have to convert gases into liquids, you are going to cool them. Cool them means they are going to be brought closer. If they are brought closer, it means they have some force of attraction. So when we talk about the two assumptions of ideal gases, the very important assumptions of ideal gases, first ideal gas said that gases which you can see, gases which will obey Boyle's law, Charles' law, and ideal gas equation at all temperature and pressure, they will not have any force of attraction or repulsion. The volume occupied by the gas molecules is negligibly small compared to the volume of the container. So when we talk about these two assumptions, we say these two assumptions are strictly not true. As we talk about the first one, it says they do not have any force of attraction. But when we talk about gases getting converted to liquids, if you convert your gas into liquid, means the molecules which were far away, they are going to come closer. When they come closer, they're going to have some force of attraction. So what we say is they will always have some intermolecular force of attraction, which is called as the van der Waals force of attraction. Second, as we studied, the actual volume occupied by the gas molecules will be negligibly small compared to the volume of the container. But we say that's not correct. The actual volume occupied by the gas molecules is small, but it's not negligible. You can see, we say the gas molecules, they will have some intermolecular force of attraction. It's like when we talk about some intermolecular force of attraction, they'll have van der Waals forces. Second, as we studied, we said the volume occupied by the gas molecules will be small. It means that the volume will be not that much small that it can be neglected. So we say it is small but not negligible to be neglected. So these are the two assumptions of ideal gases which are strictly not true. So we say real gases, they have some force of attraction, and the gases, they occupy volume which is small but not negligible. So you can see, we say real gases do not have intermolecular force of attraction. When I say real gases do not have intermolecular force of attraction, means they are far away. And when I say they are far away, they'll be far away when I am heating them. Heating them means I am increasing the temperature. So you can see, when we talk about real gases do not have intermolecular force of attraction at high temperature. You know, ideal gases said that gases do not have intermolecular force of attraction. Real gases also do not have intermolecular force of attraction at high temperature. Means I can say real gas behaves like ideal gas at higher temperature. Next important point, you can see we said actual volume occupied is small but not negligible. So we say actual volume occupied, real gases, the actual volume occupied is negligibly small compared to the total volume of the container at high pressure. Sorry, at low pressure. So you can see, when we talk about low pressure, the molecules will be far away. And because of the molecules, as they are far away, what happens? As you try to bring them closer, the volume that they occupied, if I compare with the same amount of container, the volume that they occupied will be negligibly small. So here, from this, we can conclude that real gases can behave as ideal gases at high temperature and low pressure, but not at all range of temperature and pressure. Real gases will behave like ideal gases at high temperature and low pressure. You can see the differences between ideal gas and real gas. First of all, we said ideal gas, they obey ideal gas equation, that is PV is equal to nRT. But real gases behave like ideal gases at two conditions, high temperature and low pressure. Ideal gases, we said they do not have, the volume that they occupy is negligibly small, so we'll take it as 0. They do not have any force of attraction or repulsion. But when we talk about real gases, we say the volume that they occupy is small but not negligible. Same way, when we talk about real gases, we say they do have some force of attraction or repulsion, be it the very weak van der Waals force, but yes, they'll have small amount of attraction and repulsion. Let's understand the deviation of ideal behavior of gases graphically. Now, you all remember we studied Boyle's law. Boyle's law stated that at constant temperature, pressure is inversely proportional to volume. So we studied some 2 to 3 graphs in that. So if I revise one of them, you can see PV versus P, or I can say PV versus V. PV versus pressure or PV versus volume graph, if you remember, we get a straight horizontal line parallel to x-axis. If you remember this, we get this because PV is equal to constant K. And if you increase the pressure, volume is going to decrease. As the pressure increases, volume decreases, or as the pressure decreases, volume increases. So as it is vice versa, the value of PV will always be constant. And therefore, we get as a straight horizontal line. So the graph that we expect, PV versus P, will always be a straight horizontal line parallel to pressure or volume axis. But when I plotted this graph for hydrogen gas and helium gas, you can see the graph that I get. Instead of getting a straight horizontal line, you can see I'm getting a graph which is going upwards. What does that state? It states that as the pressure goes on increasing, the value of PV, you can see the value of PV goes on increasing. for helium as well as hydrogen. Now, when I say if pressure increases, the value of PV should have been constant, because if pressure increases, volume should decrease. But here the value of PV increases. It indicates that the volume in this case is not decreasing. The volume also is increasing. What does that state? You can see when I increased pressure, I wanted hydrogen and helium to come closer. So that when you increase the pressure, the molecules, they'll come closer and the volume will decrease. But when I applied pressure to hydrogen and helium, what happened is, instead of coming closer, they started moving away from each other. Means when you increase the pressure, volume also increases. It means these gases, they are not easily compressible gases. So we say hydrogen and helium occupy high volume compared to the ideal gas. Means they are less compressible gases. This happens because hydrogen and helium, they are very small in size. And because of their small size, they do not undergo polarization easily. Because as we talk about small size, the nucleus is in contact with the electron. The size is small. The nucleus is holding the electron strongly and it doesn't get polarized. If it doesn't get polarized, it's not going to develop the charges. And because of that, the gases do not get compressible. They do not develop force of attractions easily. Second, you can see, if I talk about some more gases like carbon monoxide and methane, you can see what happens over here. First, when you increase the pressure, PV value decreases. When I increase the pressure, volume should decrease. That's correct. When you increase the pressure, volume should decrease, and because of that, PV should be constant. But what happens over here? In this case, when you increase the pressure, volume decreased, but not with the amount of increase. Like if I say I've increased the pressure 2 times, volume should decrease 2 times. So the PV value remains constant. If I increase the pressure 4 times, volume should decrease 4 times. So the value of PV remains constant. But यहाँ पे क्या हुआ? When you increase the pressure 2 times, volume decreased drastically by 4 times. मतलब जितना डिक्रीज होना चाहिए था उससे ज्यादा डिक्रीज हो गया. इसीलिए PV का वैल्यू कांस्टेंट नहीं है and your value of PV decreases. Means we can say these gases, when you apply a small amount of pressure, the volume decrease. Means these gases are highly compressible gases, and therefore when you apply little bit of pressure, they occupy very less volume in comparison. Sorry, they occupy, or yes, they occupy very less volume, or I can say come very closer as compared to ideal gases. So we say hydrogen and helium, they go above the graph. We say they are in positive deviation. Whereas carbon monoxide and methane, they go below the graph, or the value of PV is less than the ideal gas. And therefore, we say they undergo negative deviation. To understand this, we have a term called as compressibility factor. Now, if I talk about compressibility factor, it explains us the extent of deviation. Now, we have an ideal gas equation, which is PV is equal to nRT. We say ideal gas is the one that will obey this equation. Real gases do not obey this equation, and therefore we say for real gases, PV is not equal to nRT. Now, when I say real gases, PV is not equal to nRT, I can say it means the value of PV will be 4. So nRT will not be 4, it will be less than or greater than. So I'll take it as 2. Now, if I want to make the two values, that is LHS is equal to RHS, what do I need to do? I need to multiply the RHS by 2. So if I multiply that by 2, I get 4 is equal to 4. So if I say 4 is my PV and that 2 was nRT, yes, so PV was not equal to nRT. To make it equal, I multiplied it by a certain factor 2 so that it becomes equal. That 2 is not nothing but we have represented it using a factor or a symbol called as compressibility factor. So when I say what is Z, Z is your compressibility factor. You can see when we talk about ideal gas equation was PV is equal to nRT. But if I put that Z over there, it means that for an ideal gas, the value of Z will be equal to 1. And therefore, we have ideal gas equation as PV is equal to nRT. For ideal gases, Z is equal to 1. But for real gases, we say the value of Z can be greater than 1 or less than 1. So we say Z, that is compressibility factor, is nothing but the ratio of the volume of the real gas divided by the volume of the ideal gas. When I said divided by the volume of the ideal gas means we expected the gas, when you increase the pressure to, when you increase the pressure by 2 times, the volume should decrease by 2 times. That is what we expect ideally. But what happens in reality? When you increase the pressure 2 times, the volume can decrease 4 times, 5 times, or it can even increase. So that is the deviation that happens with the real gas. So the deviation that you compare with the volume of real gas with the volume of to the volume of ideal gas, that is called as compressibility factor. So we say it's defined as the ratio of actual volume of gas due to non-ideal behavior to the same gas due to ideal behavior at same temperature and pressure. We'll come to this definition again. You can see in case of hydrogen and helium, if I say for ideal gases the value of Z is equal to 1, for helium and hydrogen the value of Z is greater than 1, and for carbon monoxide and methane the value of Z is less than 1. And therefore we say hydrogen and helium, as the value is greater than 1, it undergoes positive deviation, and for carbon monoxide and methane the value is less than 1, and therefore they undergo negative deviation. So let's see how do you get compressibility factor. We have the ideal gas equation PV is equal to nRT. As constant temperature, pressure and number of moles, I can say over here for here V is the volume of ideal gas. So we write it as PV ideal is equal to nRT. Similarly, for real gas, I'll write the same equation, but PV is equals to Z into nRT, because we have studied for ideal gas, the value of Z becomes 1. For real gas, the value of Z is not 1. It can be greater than or less than 1. So, at constant temperature, pressure and n number of moles, we say PV real is equals to Z into nRT. Now, you can see I have two equations. First, ideal gas equation, and second, real gas equation. So, if I say I am dividing equation 2 by 1 or divide equation 1 by 2, you can see what I get is PV real upon PV ideal is equals to Zn upon RT upon nRT. You can see everything that is purple will get cancelled and you are left with Z is equals to V real upon V ideal. We know Z is what? Compressibility factor. V is what? Volume of a real gas, and V ideal is the volume of ideal gas. So I can say compressibility factor is defined as the volume of real gas at constant temperature and pressure to the volume of the same gas, sorry, to the volume of the same ideal gas at same temperature and pressure. But you can see when I talk about real behavior indicates that the gas is not behaving ideally. So if I say the gas is not behaving ideally, means I can say it is behaving non-ideally. So what we do is we define the compressibility factor Z as, compressibility factor Z is defined as the volume of the gas due to non-ideal behavior. You can see I'm saying V real ki jagah pe volume of the gas due to non-ideal behavior at same temperature and pressure to the volume of the gas at ideal behavior at same temperature and pressure. You can see we have taken at constant TP, at constant TP means you have to write down same temperature and pressure. So you can look at the definition over here. Compressibility factor may be defined as the ratio of actual volume of gas due to non-ideal behavior at given temperature and pressure to the same gas due to ideal behavior at same temperature and pressure. Means instead of V real, that is volume of the real gas, you will say it is the volume of the gas due to non-ideal behavior. And that is what makes your definition easy. So for compressibility factor, you can just write down, put the heading, write down this derivation and just the definition. Moving ahead, so we'll study about liquefaction of gases like what happens when you convert your gas into liquid, because that's a very important term that we are going to use in future. We'll study about those topic at the end, in the next class, sorry. So now what we have studied, we started with kinetic theory of gases. You need to write down all the postulates of kinetic theory of gases, because that is a question that can be asked for 2 or 3 marks. So first, what I want you all to write is, yes, first write down this kinetic theory of gases, first 2 postulate, then you have this postulate 3, 4. Next we have 5, 6, 7. These postulates you will write down. Then just you'll put the heading as ideal gases. These 3 points for ideal gases. Then we'll have real gases. These 2 points for real gases. And the next very important point, the 2 assumptions of ideal gases are not true. So these 2 are the correct ones. And from this, we can simply say real gas will behave like ideal gas at high temperature and low pressure. That is something that you need to remember. This is the comparison between ideal gases and real gases. And then if you want, you can draw this graph, that is, which will explain you the deviation of ideal behavior of the gases from, sorry, deviation of ideal behavior of real gases. And then last you will write down compressibility factor. No need to write all this. You will start writing from this. This is the derivation that you will write down. This derivation you will write down, and the end you're going to write down this formula. So we'll meet in the next class where we are going to study about the liquefaction of gases and critical constant. So hope you all have a nice day. Take care, everyone.